Astronauts, this is Brandi and welcome back to Astro-Tarot Research. If you're new here, as I mentioned, my name is Brandi and I like to combine Vedic and Western astrology as well as tarot insights to give you beautiful readings. So today's reading is Your Wish Will Be Granted. Now you astronauts know the polls are back and I'm very happy to announce this winner in the polls with 53% of the vote. So if you're interested in contributing to what readings we do next or what readings we do in general on this channel, go check out the polls on the community tab. Before we get started on this reading into what wish is being granted and how this may come about, I do want to remind you to like, comment, and to subscribe. Don't forget to follow me on any social medias, and I believe that is all the announcements for now. If you want a private reading, the link can be found in the description bar below. So let's get into these piles. We have pile number 1, pile number 2, pile number 3, pile number 4, and pile number 5. So let's not waste any more time and just sit back, relax, and choose. Hey pal, number 1, your wish will come true. Now let's get into this. We have the Knight of Wands, the Ace of Pentacles, the Tower, and this is the Shuffle Tarot deck. So it is a combination of energies that looks like maybe the Hangman, but the Tower, this person looks like they're dressed in the Empress's clothes. We have the 5 of Cups with the 8 of Cups combination. And we have Capricorn, your goals to get your goals, day-to-day reality, business-like, very much focusing on achievement, dedication to achieve. So, love that we're focusing on the achievement areas. So this wish that's coming true, to me, feels like something that you have been passionate about and something that you have been working towards. When I get this Knight of Wands energy, the Knight of Wands is like this character who's like, let me round everyone up. Let me get everyone excited. You know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of, like, let's say you're having a meeting and you recognize that, you know, so-and-so is not here. The Knight of Wands is like, oh, well, let me message them. Let me make sure that they're here. Like, they take the initiative to do things. And that's very Knight of Wands. Like, if there's not much to do, the Knight of Wands will create something to do, because the Knight of Wands doesn't like to sit still. And so if you've been looking to gain some momentum in your life, some changeability from stagnation, or even just to have more excitement or things to do that you're passionate about, that is coming true. Okay, that area of life is being lit up like, I guess, a fire or something. But it's happening for you. So I love the Knight of Wands because there's someone who is so ambitious. And I see why we got this Capricorn card. And we also got the Ace of Pentacles, which can represent, you know, new job opportunities, new people coming into your life, new financial windfalls, or even just like restructuring. As you see on the Capricorn card, it says the day-to-day reality. And so when we're talking about Pentacles, Earth sign energy, it does focus on your day-to-day reality. It brings about more revigor. What's the word I want to say? Revitalization of your life. You're feeling reinvigorated. You're feeling enthusiastic. You're feeling like there's this realm of possibilities. That's what I love about the Knights, because they charge ahead and they are so enthusiastic to get started that maybe they overlook a few certain things, but the enthusiasm is there. And so this is like, I'm bringing more enthusiasm into your daily life. This can also represent, like, if you felt like you are not in the place that you need to be when it comes to a job, a career, or a goal, a certain goal that you have in mind. This is that being focused on now. That now becomes the focus. There's now a shift in that area where it feels like there's more opportunities to come your way, opportunities that you feel excited about. So I want to preface that. Like, the Ace of Pentacles can represent a lot of different things because it just focuses on the material world in general. So if you have been focusing on, you know, finding a new mattress, you know, this is like, oh, I got a new mattress. If you've been focusing on things having to do with, I wouldn't say inspiration, because it's like more tangible things. A new style. This is like, oh, I finally have like new style inspiration. I'm working on getting that new wardrobe, that dream, that wish that's coming true. This can also bring about new people into your life that are exciting and fun. The card emphasis is not technically on love. So if you were looking for a wish to be granted in terms of like love, you may want to choose a different pile, because this is more so focusing on maybe networking or new friends or people who can support you in that way. The energy with these cards is a bit more platonic. So I do want you to know that. When we have this Tower card energy, and let me pull this closer to me really quick, just to see the imagery on it. We have this crown. We have, I do not know what this person is wearing. I've never seen that, but we have people with descriptive wardrobe. Looks very elegant, looks very high design. So I'm guessing it's referencing some sort of some sort of royalty there. And so to me, this feels like the things that you might have held dear, the things that were priorities to you, are crumbling, and you're creating new priorities and new systems within your life. Didn't mean for this to go so deep, but this is where we're going. This is about, always with the Tower, always about destroying new structures, having the truth come out, and recognizing what is truly important. And especially since we're talking about the Tower and the upheaval of old foundations, with the Ace of Pentacles, it's perfectly aligned with that, because the Ace of Pentacles is all about new foundations. And so when we see this happening here, we know that there is a wish coming true that is going to shake up your reality, shake up your day-to-day, and it's going to be something that is practical, something you can taste, smell, touch, feel, that is in alignment with your desires. You know, it's something that's way better, you know. So I just want you to know that. And the things that a lot of people are concerned about, especially in this day and age, is a lot of stability. So if you're looking for stability, this would be an opportunity for that. If you've been looking for moves within a job or career, this connects to that. If you've just been looking for some excitement in your day-to-day, this connects to that. If you've honestly just been looking for a certain amount of, what's the word, stability, steadiness, reliability within your day-to-day life, this is doing that, but it's not taking away from the excitement, okay? So what I mean by that is, I remember watching this video of AOC, and she was talking about how when she was running for Congress, she didn't have health care, right? And so when you don't have health care, there's a sense of anxiety there, and she spoke to that. And what this is saying, it's not like her life was less exciting, you know, when she finally got health care, but without having that stability there, it creates a sense of unsteadiness, unstableness. It feels a little bit like everything's always up in the air and it can fall apart at any moment, right? And so when we see this coming on here, this wish coming true here, it's saying that I'm bringing into a solid foundation into your life, something that you can rely on, something that will ease any anxieties that you have. And like I said, whether that be through connections or solid friendships, whether that be through opportunities, whether that be like, oh my gosh, I've been dreaming about getting this apartment. This is my dream apartment. And you finally get approval to get that apartment. Excuse me. Sorry for the sound, guys. Whether that is you being able to finally get that dream apartment, or even, you know, it could be an unexpected lottery win, but there's different cards for that. But only reason I mentioned like a sort of lottery win or a winning of money or a sudden windfall of money is because we have the Tower here next to the Ace of Pentacles, and then we have this 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups combination, which is like, oh, I'm leaving behind the struggle. You know, I'm leaving behind opportunities that weren't suited for me, situations that weren't suited for me, relationships that weren't suited for me. So it's a sense of more financial stability and more financial freedom. All earth sign houses and earth signs connect to financial stability. All right. So I do want you to know that. And if you're someone who's been thinking about starting a business, well, one, this is saying that things are changing, the dynamics are shifting, and more than likely you might be doing some restructuring, or you recognize that certain things aren't working for you and you decide to leave those things behind. And because you decide to leave those things behind and transform your business, then it changes, it grows, and there's more success. So I want you to know that. This can also represent if you've had some sort of wish of getting a raise. Well, then this is that. And I want to say that there's an element of personal fulfillment here, because we're talking about this 8 of Cups, 5 of Cups combination. And the 8 of Cups is moving away from a place that they feel like these options aren't really suited for me. This is not really something I'm looking for. I'm going to go search for something that provides me with a deeper meaning and a sense of fulfillment in my life. And it goes to the 9 of Cups, right? And so what we're seeing here is you're leaving behind circumstances that may have felt a bit disastrous or even chaotic, especially the Tower. I always get the Tower, and I've seen people get the Tower for moments that are just mind-blowingly transformative. And it doesn't always have to connect to that. Sometimes it's just like, I'm surprised, or I finally let go of this. You know, for example, I've gotten the Tower to represent, I'm over this job. You know what I mean? Like, I've seen that for people. So when we're talking about something that is this emotional upheaval, this huge shift and transformation, then this is about, I'm going towards a place that is happier, where you're gaining more recognition, you're gaining more respect, you're healing from those traumas. You know, we always talk about healing, but I guess it's an ongoing process. But essentially, maybe healing's not the right word I want to use, but you're continuing to monitor your feelings and your emotions so that you're more aligned with your true self. Like, you're less likely to be taken out of your character, or that's going to be the situations that you're going to be moving into as you go towards the future. There is a stronger sense of purpose. And I really feel like this is you rising up to be who you are meant to be within the world. Okay, so I do want to focus on this pile in particular. Like, the recognition part is very, very important. And one thing that I've seen about Mars in the sign of Capricorn in the 10th house, and I wonder where I'm getting Mars from, the Tower is connected to Mars, is this creates a severance. And what I mean by that is you are being pulled away from usually some sort of job or purpose that's no longer alignment with you. Like, when I see people who have Mars in the 10th house, one, they're usually stretched thin, like, to be completely honest. A little bit burnt out, but that's not important to this reading. This doesn't really resonate with burnout. This is resonating with the part of that Mars Capricorn feel that is focused and driven. Remember, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. And the reason that it's exalted in Capricorn is Mars is like this spastic energy. Don't get me wrong, it can be focused, it can be disciplined, but it needs that sense of guidance and regulation and rules. You know, because Mars it's very like Knight of Wands sometimes. It likes to go out of bounds. It likes to do this, and I get distracted by that. But in the sign of Capricorn, the energy is focused. It's disciplined. It shows up every day, and it has tunnel vision towards its goals. And so I feel as though you're achieving certain goals. They're going to be happening for you, and you're going to be recognized for that. And then another thing I want to say with this Mars in the 10th house energy is you're being known for getting a lot done and doing a great job at it. This is definitely juggling a lot, trust and believe. But I do want to go back to the point of severance. Mars going through like this Capricorn 10th house can pull you away from any job, any goal, any role, any title that it doesn't suit you. Like if you're married and you have Mars go through the 10th house, this can sometimes represent like a divorce. If you're in a relationship, you know, this can represent, oh, I broke up with this person. So it's not necessarily always work focused, but it's like, I'm taking you out of here. Like if this is not truly where you want to be, you're getting out of here. And especially since we have this 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups combo, something tells me you're making the switch. You know, you're pulling the trigger here and you're like, oh, time to go. So that is what I've seen from those transits and the positions within people's charts. I feel as though when you have this placement here, this also represents setting strong boundaries and being able to keep them, being steady in them, you know. And maybe before you used to get swayed a lot, or, you know, people would convince you, or you would compromise on certain things. Not anymore. This is like, hey, I know my worth and I am sticking to this. I'm sticking to the plan. I've got a new spirit. I've got this fire within me that is lit, and I'm not letting anyone get in the way of my goals. So that's why I say your wish is being granted in terms of any sort of higher aspirations that you want to achieve, right? Whatever you feel like, I want to do this within this lifetime, this is happening. Like you're starting to make waves in that direction, and you're starting to see some results, especially when we have this Ace of Pentacles. So I think that might be where I want to end things for you guys, pal. Number one, I feel as though this is you deciding to break free, move stronger towards your goals, getting those goals accomplished. And I don't think it's like, oh, all the goals are being accomplished at once. But with this Ace of Pentacles and this 5 of Cups, 8 of Cups combination, this is definitely like, okay, all of these things that I had held dearly or I was clinging on to so bad, I don't feel aligned with them anymore, and I'm changing my priorities and I am shifting focus to meet my goals. And when you shift that focus, boom, it happens. You start reaping in the rewards. So I feel the rewards coming in for you. All right, I think I want to leave it there. And let me know your thoughts below and what you think, and you know how you feel about the reading. If this doesn't resonate, feel free to choose a new pal, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. But either way, I'm very happy to stop by. Don't forget, I go live on the weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Time will be most posted on community tab. I also pop up, so hit the bell to stay notified. And then also I do private readings below. So don't forget, if you would like to private read me, fill out the form. I'll get back to you. And I also love to poll you astronauts on your thoughts and your opinions and everything that's going on in your beautiful heads. So feel free to check out the community tab for that as well. And I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey pal, number 2, your wish will be granted. So let's see. Let's gather some insights. We have the Hermit, the Ace of Wands, the Hanged Man, which is the Shuffle Tarot deck. So it's combined with Temperance. The 2 of Pentacles combined with the 2 of Swords in the Shuffle Tarot deck. And we have Jupiter, good fortune, be positive, or wow, learn or teach. Love this. Blessings from, gratitude from, it's amazing. This is Jupiterian like energy, which means it's big, it's powerful, it's life-changing, it's transformative, and it's just this, I guess I'll say, supporter of good luck, champion of the people, advocating for blessings for all. That is the Jupiterian like energy. And so when we start to get into what wish is being granted for you lovely astronauts who chose pile number 2, to me, it feels as if you're coming out of this work mode, this reflection mode, or even just this period of isolation or being like a little bit more reserved, possibly even a little bit more introverted. But the thing is, you're in this grind mode, right? The Hermit card is not the card of like, let's be social and let's talk to everyone and let's share all of my ideas and let's go out there in the world and, you know, do something and innovate. You know, the Hermit card is kind of like I work and I go home type of energy here. But when we have this Ace of Wands showing this wish that's being granted, to me, it's showing initiation. It's showing we have momentum, we have speed, you know, we've reached our conclusions, we found a solution, we are stepping out into a new era, we are breaking free. The Ace of Wands is very much in love with freedom. It connects to the fire signs, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. And they're always in their own lanes and creating their own spaces. And so to me, this shows that you are putting yourself out there more in the world. I wouldn't say it's like a crazy amount because we do have this Two of Pentacles and this Two of Swords combination, but it is a stepping stone forward in terms of breaking free. It's about feeling more inspired, enjoying your life because it connects to that Leo energy as well. There is new opportunities when it comes to having more energy to do the things that you possibly would like to work on. Generally, when we get the Hermit card, it connects to Virgo, which connects to the 6th house, which is like things you do on a daily basis. And the Hermit card, he's pretty slow and he's not known for being like the Energizer Bunny, but he is someone who is steady, reliable, consistent, for the most part, you know, awake and somewhat, even if he's dragging his feet. But when you have the Ace of Wands next to the Hermit, it's like saying you have more energy in your day-to-day life, you have more vitality, you have more inspiration, you feel a sense of, I don't know, rejuvenation within your spirit is what I want to say. So I really feel like if you have been looking for like a boost of energy, if you've been looking for some excitement, if you've been looking for some changes within your daily routine, your life, your work in particular, or even your health, maybe you have felt a little bit more down. Wand energy is generally going to be a little bit more upbeat, more enthusiastic, and more driven is the energy. Not that the Hermit card is not driven. And I really love to see these energies for you, so coming within your life. And it also can represent a level of freedom because we also have this Hangman energy, which is combined with Temperance. And I love this combination of cards because the Hangman connects to Pisces and Temperance connects to Sagittarius. Both of these signs are connected to Jupiter. So it's so fitting here. We have this major Jupiterian energy, major fire sign energy as well. A little bit of water, a little bit of earth, a little bit of everything, you know. Not a lot of sword action. Not a lot of sword action here. Maybe with the combination of the Two of Swords. But anyway, as we were saying, this is showing a sense of newfound freedom, a newfound inspiration. And the Temperance card, as I mentioned before, connects to Sagittarius, and that's all about purpose. That's all about ideas, for example, like what you believe in, where you draw your motivations from. Why are you, going out to work every day? Why are you deciding that you want to wear a certain outfit? Why are you deciding that you want to prioritize going to the gym versus, like, I don't know, eating snacks on the couch, stereotypes. But it shows where you are getting this inspiration for. What inspires you? What is your life code? It's like I have this code that I live by. And so to me, it also shows that you're actually reassessing that part of your life. I don't know if that's like a wish being granted, but it's more than likely why this is happening. That's probably what the cards are getting into now. We're getting into why this is happening, and it's because the things that you used to believe are transforming, they're changing, and that can apply to many different avenues. For example, maybe you used to believe that you go to college, you get a good job, and then you work there until you die, and then you start to have different experiences, and over time your beliefs start to shift, and you're just like, why do I want to be trapped at this certain job or this certain environment or in this certain relationship? or have this structure within a relationship. Why am I doing this? Like you evaluate that, and then you change your goals, and you're like, I'm no longer feeling that same sense of motivation. I no longer feel inspired to do these things or move in this way. You know, for example, maybe you've always desired to get married, and then you reassess that, and you're just like, actually, I don't really connect with that idea anymore. Like the same motivations and thought processes that I had that inspired me to go towards marriage, maybe they don't have merit anymore. Maybe they don't align with you anymore. And so you're like reconsidering that. And so this is what's bringing these changes about, of this newfound energy, new daily work routines, new jobs. Just want to straight out and say that the Hermit connects to jobs, new health, better health. Like I said, this is like revitalization, feeling more inspired, feeling like more motivated, feeling like, oh my gosh, I have the energy to do this, and I'm inspired to do this, and I want to bring more creativity into my daily life, and I want to bring more inspiration here, and I want to feel like I am aligning myself to the things that I want to do on a daily basis. And what I mean by this statement is that sometimes we have this mindset that, oh my gosh, if I work really hard, then one day I get to achieve this thing and have fun and live this peaceful life. But the thing is, life is in the now. Living is for the moment. And so when we have this Ace of Wands, it's like, I want to live in the moment more. I want more fun. I want more inspiration. I want more excitement. I want to feel like I am myself on a daily basis. And so that wish is coming true for you. Like, you're going to be propelled in a new direction when it comes to that. Let me go back to this Hangman Temperance combination so that I'm not like losing time here. So this Hangman Temperance combination, especially when we're emphasizing the Jupiterian energy, this relates heavily to freedom as well as reflection. And we have two cards representing reflection, right? Because we have this Two of Pentacles, Two of Swords combination, and this Hangman Temperance combination, and the Hermit combination. So it's a lot of reflection going on here for you, pile number two. A lot of thinking, and to me it feels as though you're making a decision that will ultimately push you towards more freedoms, and you're following your intuition more. When I see this Two of Pentacles, this Two of Swords energy, it's like saying, well, let me actually weigh my options. And when it comes to weighing your options, you're going to end up choosing the option that is going to provide you the most freedom. It also lets me know that there's going to be a period in time coming for you if you've had like a lot of, as I mentioned, go to work, come home, or just being very busy. This is opening up a time to pause and reflect. And if you guys don't know, I do my little monthly readings. And I love doing the monthly readings, weekly readings, daily readings, because they give you more insights as to what's happening on a daily basis. So for example, you know, I've pulled the Hangman a few times for like careers, and it can represent different things. But one thing that is consistent is that it brings a moment of pause. It brings a moment of slowdown, at least at some point within that week, that day, that month. It's time to just say, okay, I can finally organize my thoughts, and I'm able to choose a path that is going to bring about more blessings and happiness into my life. Because like I said, Jupiter doesn't like to be bound by anything. It's all about expansion. It's not Saturnian. There's no restrictions, right? So it wants to continue to expand and expand and expand and expand and grow. And so I feel as though you're finally getting the time to actually decide where you want to grow in, what avenues you want to take, and how you want to do that. And maybe you just haven't had enough energy or focus, or you've been distracted by certain responsibilities. You know, life happens, right? But now that time is coming, that time of reflection, that time of pause, that period of like, okay, this is my plan. I actually get to sit down and refine the details and walk this through and actually figure things out. Like, you're getting a moment to just slow down, okay? I do want that to be known. Jupiter also connects to, travel. It also connects to material abundance. I mean, I'll say this, like, when I get the Hangman and I get Temperance and I get this Two of Pentacles type of energy, those combination of cards, they're not necessarily like, it's not necessarily like, oh, I'm a millionaire, but what it shows for me is that when it comes to the money-making areas, it's more so like you're reorganizing the financial structures and you're creating, well, more balance. I mean, that's what these two cards have in common. Like, the Temperance is about balance. The Two of Pentacles is about balance. So there's more balance in those areas. So if you've been worrying about some sort of financial troubles, which the Hermit card, as I mentioned, connects to Virgos, has to do with finances. Similar with Temperance, that has to do with the economy and, modest living and things along the lines of that. There is less extremities, less highs and lows, okay? Jupiter, this good fortune energy, especially when I've seen it come into the 6th house, like if you have Jupiter transit in your 6th house, it brings more opportunities for income. And so I feel like that's something that may be coming on. Like, if you have been looking, as I mentioned before, for a new job, if you've been looking at different avenues to make money, maybe you're an entrepreneur, this is that coming in. This is that energy transforming. And we're focusing a lot more so on the practicalities of life, the slowdown, the figuring out of the plans, the finances, the rejuvenation of health and spirit and motivations. And these are the things that are probably the most important, right? We're not talking about love. We're not talking about too much of the personal relationships. So if you have some wishes or desires in those areas, you might want to choose a different pile, because this is what's coming in the strongest for you. Like I mentioned, the financial abundance, being able to fine-tune the details of your long-term plans, or being actually able to formulate those long-term plans, feeling more excitement on a daily basis, having a lot to do, having a lot to do that you want to do, right? This is not something that is more so like, I'm imposing this work, this is pressure, this is responsibility, this is duty. This is like, no, I want to do this. I want to move in this direction. I feel aligned with this. I feel like this is something I can do. And you're getting the opportunity to actually enact that without having any sort of financial strain or strain from other responsibilities, or even responsibilities in the terms of people, right? Because sometimes people ask things of us and we might stretch ourselves thin to be more agreeable or to keep the peace, right? That's something that can happen with this combination. And so I see a lot of these good things coming for you. The last thing I want to touch on is this Jupiterian, Sagittarius, as well as Pisces energy here, because we can read this as like Jupiter being in the sign of Sagittarius or the 9th house. So when Jupiter comes into the sign of Sagittarius in the 9th house, that expands your worldview. And there are many different ways to expand that. That's through education, that's through travel. That can be even through sort of like higher ups, or if you're in a second marriage, that's like life experience. But the 9th house can also deal with contracts. In my opinion, or my experience, I've seen it deal a lot more with content or media that you're consuming that shapes your ideas and your beliefs. Doesn't have to be content. I guess it could be people as well. People who are shaping your beliefs, people who may even have a strong influence over your life, whether that is bosses, HR, lawyers. It's kind of like learning from these circumstances. And so it's expanding any circumstances dealing with HR and lawyers. So like, let's say you are in some sort of legal situation. Well, with the Hermit card, Jupiter in Temperance or Sagittarius, ninth house, this can represent the resolving of those issues, or even coming to an understanding, coming to some sort of compromise. It's like I'm being blessed in the areas of legalities. I'm being blessed in the areas of having good teachers. I'm being blessed in the areas of having a strong sense of education, or even accomplishing something in terms of education, whether that be a certification, certificate, or even graduating or something along the lines of that. But it does show that, hey, we're moving upwards in this area. We're expanding our mind, which can be through, as I mentioned, travel. It can represent through conversations with people of different circumstances than you as well. And then we can also read this as like Jupiter in Pisces or Jupiter in the 12th house. And that sort of like, that expands everything I was mentioning before with the rest. Expands things having to do with being able to reflect, being able to refine your plans, being able to take this time to say, okay, is this actually aligned with what I want to do in my life, or am I just being caught up in the day-to-day? Like, am I not actually living my life in a fulfilling way? And then, you know, on a practical level, this can represent being in more charitable circumstances, whether that is you being charitable or having others being charitable towards you, having others being able to guide you, having support systems. That is Jupiter's like ultimate, I guess, blessing. It's really great at being supportive. And so I feel as though this is like, hey, you know, somebody's coming in to be supportive towards you. Someone's coming in to give you guidance. Someone is coming in to help you bounce ideas off of. And that is the embodiment of this energy. But I love that we got Jupiter for you. This is ultimately the card of good fortune. And so this is some strong indicators that you're having some big wishes and dreams coming true for you. In the area specifically that I talked about. This can also represent just conflicts being resolved. Sometimes it extends conflicts, but this is about wishes being granted. And so in terms of Jupiter granting wishes, conflicts are being resolved. So that is what I want to say when it comes to that. So that is what I have for you, pal number 2. Hopefully this resonates. You know, if not, feel free to choose a new pal or a new reader. Either way, I'm happy you stopped by. Don't forget that I go live. The time is posted on the community tab, as well as I do pop-ups. So you might want to click that bell to be notified of that. And then a reminder, I do private readings. The link can be found to that below. And I will see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal number 3, your wish will be granted. Now let's get into this. We have the 3 of Cups, the 7 of Swords, this card, the 9 of Cups, and the 9 of Pentacles combo on the Shuffle Tarot deck. We have the Queen of Pentacles combined with the High Priestess on the Shuffle Tarot deck. And we have Mercury. Analyze, and how many thoughts about or from, many words, the awareness of. Talking about Mercury's accumulation of knowledge, right? So, when we're talking about what wish will be granted for you, to me it feels as though you're looking to have more fun, more excitement, and more general collaboration and cooperation. For example, if you've had many conflicts, whether it be through personal relationships or just sort of life circumstances. You know, sometimes you get on the phone with customer service and there's this back and forth and it's just a nightmare. Well, with the 3 of Cups here, you're going to be having more instances and more situations where people are going to be more collaborative. They're going to want to be someone who is compromising, who is more agreeable. You're meeting more people like that. And not only that, but when I get the 3 of Cups, it represents like, hey, we're on the same page. We're in alignment. The 7 of Swords energy here is not just about like sneakiness or being a thief or whatever, but it's about being strategic and thinking about what exactly it is that aligns with you, or even being careful about what you say and how you say it. Very much Seven of Swords. It's about what can I do to achieve my goals. Now, the Seven of Swords, emphasizes I'll do anything to achieve my goals, but that's not necessarily, everyone who's picking this pile. So you're thinking more so about like, how can I achieve my goals? This Mercury card energy is very analytical. As I said, it's many, on the card it says many words. And when you are someone who has a, vast vocabulary and a vast understanding of the language that you speak or languages that you speak, well, then you have a better ability to communicate your ideas in a way that is pleasing or comes off easier to a particular audience, right? So even if you're dealing with someone who is frustrating, you manage to find a way to speak to them. You manage to essentially tame the beast so that you can achieve your goals. And so I feel like that's coming in strongly for a lot of you. Just more good times in general as well. Even time to yourself, because sometimes we get this Three of Cups combination with the Seven of Swords to represent like, hey, I'm having fun by myself. I'm having a good time, or like, let's say, you're kind of getting tired of the same old, events. Like if you have a friend group and you guys tend to do the same things over and over again, with the Seven of Swords, it's like I'm kind of pulling away from that. And I'm thinking of doing something that's a little bit more up my alley, my speed. And when we get this Nine of Cups combination with the Nine of Pentacles, I want to speak on the Nine of Cups first. This Nine of Cups energy is more about personal satisfaction and thinking about things that bring you happiness and make your life feel like it's worthwhile. And so to me, there's a lot of focus on more so what can I do to bring happiness and joy and fulfillment into my life. I remember pulling the Nine of Cups for a month in particular, and just so I do monthlies on this channel. So be on the lookout for that. I think they're pretty good, and I think you guys will enjoy that if you like my reading style. But back to this. When we have this Nine of Cups energy, I drew it for a month one time. And what happened was, it's not like it was the most beautiful, amazing month, but what occurred was that I was focusing more so on trying to align my life with things that made me happy, focusing on what can I do to get there. And I feel like that's something that's going to be granted for you. You're going to be granted more opportunities to ensure that you have happiness long-term within your life. Your intuition is guiding you. Your intellect is guiding you. It's like you have all of the tools that you need to be successful. So there's a sense of pouring in of happiness, pouring in of joy and fulfillment. I really feel like this is just an overall strategic shift in your life that's showing that you're having wishes being granted when it comes to getting a life that makes you happy and fulfilled. Like, I think that's what's coming in. And if you have felt like you have been compromising yourself for the sake of others, if you have felt like you have had to navigate this wild system, and you're like, oh, I'm tired of dealing with the daily work grind, or I'm tired of dealing with society's expectations, my family's expectations, friends' expectations. This is letting all of that go. You're like, I don't care anymore. I just want to do the things that makes me happy. And you're getting more opportunities to do that. And not only that, but you're personally taking the initiative to ensure that that occurs. And I really feel when we have this Queen of Pentacles, this Nine of Pentacles, High Priestess, combo and things along that, on the line, I'm getting tongue-tied. Things on the line of that. Well, what happens is it's focusing on how can I make myself feel good? How can I bring more joy and fulfillment into my life? The High Priestess is someone who is a passionate person. She is someone who shows a dedication to spiritual knowledge and the divine. She's someone who is dedicated to her studies of the world that cannot be explained, the world beyond the veil, outside of our reality. And so one thing that I want to talk about is you're dedicating your time. Like if you're a tarot reader, if you're into something esoteric, occult, like, it's leveling up your skill sets and your knowledge in that area. And then if you're someone who is doing this as a business or a hobby and you're making money through this, this is like showing that you're gaining strong clientele and support that can last you, particularly in those occult, esoteric areas. All right. I just want to say that for those of you that that resonates for. But in general, this is, I'm doing things that are aligned with my higher purpose, or I'm getting myself pulled into circumstances that will align me with my higher purpose. The high priestess she can't and refuses, same with the Queen of Pentacles, she can't and she refuses to be a part of some sort of environment that isn't nurturing her soul, isn't nurturing her spirit, isn't comfortable. And that is something that you're leaving behind. Any sort of situation, circumstance that is bringing instability, that is messing with mental health, physical health, within the realm of your control, I should say, is being pulled away. It's getting better. It's moving in a new direction. And what I love to see about this mercurial energy is I feel as though there's a lot more confidence coming your way. I don't know if this is something you're wishing for, but there's a lot more confidence in who you are, what you want, and getting the things that you deserve within this world, because you deserve to be happy. You deserve to live the life that you want to live. If you want to be rich, you deserve to be rich. You know, it's just like you're getting what is owed to you. You're getting what you deserve. And it's finally feeling like this avenue is opening up. This almost feels a little bit like a turning point. And I say that because from a Vedic astrology perspective, the Mercury ruled nakshatra placements are generally at Gandanta points, which is when the tides shift, essentially, from different themes. Like there's 3 specific themes, which has to do with who are you, mastering the material world, and then it has to do with like mastery of the spiritual world and things along the lines of that. It gets a bit more deep with that. And this is why I say you're at this turning point, because of that mercurial energy. It's a pinnacle point. It's like I've reached this point where I have no choice but to move to the next stage, where I have no choice but to begin a new cycle. And so there's a new cycle coming in for you. And I don't know if that was something that you were hoping and wishing for, but it is coming. And there's multiple things if we're talking about practical matters and everyday circumstances. When we have this 9 of Cups, this 9 of Pentacles combination, it's like, oh, I have free time to, you know, enjoy my day. I can go on vacation. I can take a pause. I can take a break. Like, I have some time to, you know, sit and relax and cater to myself. Very Queen of Pentacles energy. I have time to reflect and pause and enjoy the quiet, enjoy the peacefulness, enjoy the silence with this High Priestess and Queen of Pentacles energy combining. There's a lot more of that coming your way. And so I feel as though you're doing a lot of things for yourself that will bring about more happiness and fulfillment, as I mentioned before. Like that is the wish that is being granted. Like you're finally getting the chance to do that. Maybe there have been too many different obstacles and challenges, but now it's opening up to say, okay, it's finally your time to have joy come in, to have fulfillment come in, to have more peace come into your life, to actually just, you know, relax, okay? More relaxation, all right? So I really see that for you. Generally, these cards are good in terms of financial benefits. So if you've been looking for an opportunity that can level you up financially, that is definitely in the cards for you, no pun intended. And if you have been looking for just a time to pull away from the crowd, then that is coming for you as well. And this can also focus on, as I mentioned, just feeling good about yourself. Like, I don't know if that was the wish that you were hoping for, but it's the wish that's coming true. Like, if you have had, you know, your self-esteem been a bit up and down, if you've been sort of critiquing yourself a little bit more, or just had a lot of just feeling like days, you know, we all have days where we're like, oh, I don't look as good, or I don't feel da-da-da-da, or I'm not measuring up to this whatever bar. Well, that's kind of like dissipating more, and it's more just like, I just feel good about me. I think I'm a great person. I think I have a lot to contribute. I think that I deserve everything in the world. And you do. You do, pal. Number 3, you deserve it all. And so that is what I'm going to leave you with. I really feel like this is an uplifting of your spirit. More so focusing on like, oh, I'm going to go on a yacht or something like that. But that is a possibility. You know, if that yacht is relaxing, if it feels like it aligns with your spirit, then yeah, that's an opportunity for that, right? But that is the main factor when it comes to what's going on for you. So I'm going to leave it there. And hopefully this resonates. If not, feel free to choose a new pal or maybe a new reader. But either way, I'm very happy that you stopped by. Don't forget, I go live on the weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I also do pop-ups. So you're going to need to hit that bell to be notified of when I pop up. And then also, I love to poll you astronauts to see what's on your brain, what type of readings you like, and etc. And feel free to check out that community tab where all of those polls are. And I also will make announcements. If you want a private reading, link is in the description bar below. And I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal. Number 4, your wish will be granted. Let's get into it. We have the 10 of Swords, the Lovers, the 6 of Wands, 6 of Swords, Shuffle Tarot deck combination, the 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Cups combination on a Shuffle Tarot deck. And we have the sign of Scorpio. Secrets, power, you know, resurrection, control the situation. All right. So when we see these cards here and we're talking about your wish being granted, let's figure out what this wish is. So to me, it feels as though there's a heaviness on your mind. 10 of Swords is very anxiety prone, very sad, very depressed in some cases, represents having a lot of negative thinking. Just your thoughts are overwhelming you. And when we go into this Lover's card here, which deals with your mind and how you think and, you know, basically how you process information, this is representing having some relief in that area. You can look at the Lover's card as connected to Gemini in the 3rd house, which is the sign of your mind. It's also the sign of lots of different other things, but in relation to this reading, it looks like we're focusing on your thoughts. And to me, you're going from a pattern of thinking that isn't the most beneficial, meaning it's a little bit more distressing. It's putting you in a position where you have a lot of upsettedness. I don't know if that's a word, but it's basically you're almost like upsetting yourself. And it's not to say that there aren't situations going on in your life that are causing this, but obviously we are human. We can't control every situation, but we can control how we think and how we choose to view a situation. You know, glass half full versus glass half empty, or even just deciding to be more hopeful despite, you know, having several years of circumstances and things not working out. So what I see here is there is a lifting of those anxieties. There's a lifting of your spirit. This 6 of Swords and the 6 of Wands combination speaks to how you're gaining victory over your thoughts. You're gaining a more positive mindset, and you're moving on to a place where you're starting to feel better about your life or your circumstances, and a lot of the worries are dissipating. And it's about being able to not only recognize choices and the parts you may have played in the past, but also looking forward and saying, you know what, I'm going to make better choices. I'm going to make choices that more align with my spirit. I'm going to make choices that make the most sense to me, that benefit me. It's less about like being in the survival mode and more so like I'm going to take a risk and I'm going to take a chance, because the Lover's card connects to courage as well. And because you're taking these risks and you're taking these chances, it's pushing you towards a place of more celebrations, of more excitement, of more happiness and fulfillment and recognition and a more positive attitude. You know, this Six of Wands, when you have it and it comes up to you, it's like, I can feel proud about who I am. I feel like a winner. I feel like I've accomplished something. I feel like things are going great for me. I am on cloud 9. And when it's combined with the Six of Swords and it's showing that you're moving forward, that means there's future victories to be had. You're already thinking about the next goal, the next win, how you can ensure that you're living a life where there is more happiness and fulfillment regularly. Okay, I'm not going to say on a daily basis because we don't have a lot of pentacles, but it's like more consistency. This can also represent just a switch of pace. And I think we sort of touched on that with the mental transformation, but this can also just represent like switching and changing your neighborhood. Like, for example, if any of you have been contemplating a move, contemplating like going and living somewhere else, or even just traveling somewhat, this would be in line with that sort of thinking. The Lovers is the 8th from the 8th house, which Scorpio connects to the 8th house. And when we have that, that represents a lot of changeability, sudden upheavals, sudden circumstances that are pulling you to a direction that's going to ultimately be more beneficial towards you. So if you've been looking to move to a better apartment, better neighborhood, then this is definitely in line with that thinking. Even if you had something small, like I'm upgrading my car, or I'm even gaining my driver's license, or something like that. Third house definitely connects to short travels. And it can be short in terms of distance, or it can be short in terms of like stay. Like, let's say you go to Europe, but you only stay there a week. That would be very third house oriented. So keep that in mind. So if you've been looking to move, if you've been looking to go on a short vacation, a short trip, or having the opportunity to take that, that is going to be happening for you. And then everything else that I said before, upgrades to a car, less traffic, less having to deal with, you know, constant overstimulation from communication. Third house definitely can represent having a lot of mental strain, and thus it connects a lot to responsibilities, right? It's like, I got to do this task, I got to do that task, and this is like, okay, I'm doing less now because like you guys are burning out my brain because I'm doing too much, right? There's that. So there's less mental fog, there's less stressors, less things you have to think about, and that can be really good. Like if you, like I said, if you felt overwhelmed by all of the, I got to fill out this document, and then I've got to go to this post office and drop this thing off, and you know, then I have to respond to this email, and you know, it's email overload and communication overload, and we have meeting after meeting, and I have to call this person back, and da da da. It's like, let's move away from that if that has been your experience. I really feel as though this is happening as a result of you really taking the time to figure out what is going to bring you the most satisfaction. And not only that, but recognizing that the situation that you're in is not viable in the long term. This is strictly your doing. Like, you have the control here. When we have the Lover's card, and that's a card about choices, it's kind of one of those major arcana. Normally major arcana deal with things that are fated, but when we have the Lover's card is about our personal choices. And so you're personally choosing to transform your life. You're personally choosing to move out of this place of hardship, this mental weight, this anxiety, these stressful circumstances. Even if you're surrounded by people who aren't happy for you, you're going to be choosing to be happy for yourself. And excuse me, the only reason I mention that is because when we have this Six of Swords, Six of Wands combination, it's kind of like there's some people who aren't exactly like celebrating your win. You know, swords can connect a lot to sort of that jealousy in a way. And so even though you're winning, not everyone's going to be happy for you, and you're choosing to, I guess, move on from that, ignore it, you know, like you're like, I don't really, that had nothing to do with me. And you're focusing more on exploring your inner world. With this Scorpio placement here, Scorpio is a very interesting sign because there's a lot of deep thinking and a lot of, what's the word? I'll say it's a lot of emotional transformation when it comes to this house, because when we're talking about Scorpio, we're talking about deep intimacy and connection and values of other people. And so for me, when I look at this spread, you are making sure that you are connecting with people who have shown that they value you, who have shown that they are appreciative of you. So if you haven't been in that position before and you're surrounded by the haters, you've got a lot going on, no one's sympathetic to your situation or empathetic to your situation, now you're like moving away from that and you're choosing an environment where you have that support, where you have that connection, where you have that deep intimacy. This Eight of Cups, Eight of Pentacles combination is like I'm focusing and honing in on the deeper meaning, the deeper connections that I can have in this lifetime. And I'm making sure that I'm really making sure, like I've got crossing out all my T's and dotting all my I's to make sure that I am choosing people, situations, you know, things, jobs, whatever the case may be, homes that align more with my spirit. And so this is an uplifting and a transformation in your thinking as well as your circumstances. And this can also represent some financial wins as well. But like I said, with this particular pal, I feel it's like you stepping into your own power. Like there is a lot of you being the force that grants your own wishes, okay? And I also feel as though this can represent meeting someone who you feel you really connect with, who you feel understands you, who you feel gets you, and even feeling supported. Like if you have some sort of craft, if you have some sort of business, if you have a hobby, it's like you're being supported in your hobby. You're being encouraged. You're being seen for that. When we talk about the things that are not related to intimacy when it comes to the sign of Scorpio, then we're talking more so about, I guess, more practical matters, because it connects to income that's not earned. And so if you're someone who receives royalties, has inheritances, settlements, what's the other word I want to use? Stocks, any sort of like passive income that you're not like actively working on. This is going to show that there are going to be some changes in those areas, but the changes are for good. And when we have this Eight of Cups and this Eight of Pentacles combination, it's like I'm moving on to a better place when it comes to those. So if you got royalties, this could be like I'm getting higher royalties, or I'm trying to figure out what is the most successful, you know, like if you make music, or what's the most successful song, so I can sort of regenerate those vibes and create better music that people will like, so it can generate more royalties for me. Like certain things like that could be going on. So that's a very specific example, but just know that there could be some increases when it comes to the passive income and being supported by others. You know, maybe you get a sugar daddy or sugar mama, whatever the case may be, but it does show some alleviation when it comes to the financial burdens. The Eight of Pentacles is somebody who is a student that is being supported. That it was its original intention. It is an apprentice. And so the apprentices, especially at the time when these cards were made on, and what they were being in reference to is someone who had a craft and had a skill and worked with a master, worked and lived with a master, but they were not paying for the house, the home, the food, whatever. It was their job to master their craft. And so I often get the Eight of Pentacles to be similar to the Six of Pentacles, where it's just like, I'm supporting you so you can better yourself, so you can improve yourself, right? And that could be anything from like loans or, you know, credit cards as well, because technically those are also borrowed money, money that is unearned, money that is not yours, right? And so there is that coming in. So if you've been waiting on like approval for a home loan, this is like, boom, that's coming in. If you've been waiting for like a settlement, that's something that's coming in. So I just want to touch on that really quick if that has been your wishes. But generally, it just represents having more support and being more valued by others. So that is what I have for you, pile number 4. Let me know if this resonates. If not, you know, you can feel free to choose a new pal, or maybe I'm not the reader for you, but either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget that I go live on the weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and I pop up during the week as well. Times are posted on the community tab and pop-ups. You're going to have to hit that bell to stay notified. I do private readings. Links to that can be found below. I practice Vedic and Western astrology, and I also do the tarot readings. So if you want to get one from me, all you got to do is fill out the form and I'll get back to you with your reading. And I think that is all I want to say for now. Don't forget to vote on the polls, also on the community tab. I'm very much interested in getting your opinions, astronauts, and I'll see you next time. Au revoir. Hey, pal, number 5, your wish is being granted. So we have the 6 of Swords, the 3 of Wands, the 2 of Wands. This one won't flip. We have the Devil, and this is on the Shuffle Tarot deck, so it combines energy. And we have the South Node. This says, what does it say? There will not be anxiety about trouble. Then we have Now is not the time to. I love that, actually. So let's get into this. So the Shuffle Tarot deck combines 2 energies. You see the Fool and the Devil. Then you see the 2 of Swords energy combined with the 2 of Cups energy, and it is in a wand form. Okay, very interesting. So let's get into this. If you have been having some ongoing issues with a particular person, with the South Node energy, that is about letting it go and going into a new beginning. The combination of the Fool and the Devil card is about releasing yourself from this bind and breaking away from any energy that has been binding, holding you down, keeping you in a pretty dark place, all right? Right now in the skies, as I'm filming this, the South Node, which is K2, is conjunct Mars. And I love the combination of energies because Mars and K2 act pretty similarly, meaning that they both are extremely hot, I don't know what you want to call them, objects. And they're all about, I guess, an element of unpredictability, an element of, I'm taking you out of this. You know, both K2 and Mars are about severing things and breaking away from things. And so I love that the energy of the cards reflect this because we start off with this 6 of Swords. So that is all about moving towards a better place after going through that rough period of that 5 of Swords where you can't trust anyone and everyone's out to get you or out to get each other and there's bad communication and no one's looking out for each other. It's just very negative, right? And so you're moving away from that. And the cards are reflecting that pretty much over and over again. You know, it's very repetitive with these cards here, especially since we have this Devil, this 2 of Wands showing people at a standstill. I've gotten this 2 of Wands, 2 of Cups combination to represent like not seeing eye to eye, but then also at the same time, on certain levels, it can represent having support, like I have your back, right? That seems to be like the undercurrent of the card. But for the most part, it's come up more to represent being in conflict with someone, something, some system, whatever, some environment. But what we're getting from the overall messaging here is you're getting out of that place and you're moving on to a place that is better, that has more opportunities headed. And obviously with this 6 of Swords and this 3 of Cups, you've been planning this, you've been moving towards it, and the cards are letting you know it's happening. So if you've been going through this tough time, whatever the case may be in regards to this tough time, it's a lot of things it could connect to, especially with the devil, excuse me, and the 3 and 6 of Swords energy. Swords usually have to do with your immediate environment. It can have to do with the places that you go to on a daily basis, similar to Virgo because it connects to Gemini. It can represent friends, coworkers, if you've had beef with them or if you just didn't like the environment you were in. It can represent school to some degree or education, learning skills in general. So if you've been having issues in those areas, especially honing in on the communication front, there's always so many different things that we can get boggled down by in terms of communication, especially when you're dealing with systems, from having to deal with, customer service to having to deal with bureaucracy or policies in an organization, or just people that you have to communicate with regularly. Some people are very difficult to communicate with. Some people hear what they want to hear and it becomes frustrating, okay? Right? So there's a part of that that's going on, and it's saying you're moving away from this sort of heaviness. You're moving away from this environment, these people who might be even just bringing you down, really. It's like you don't have to fight anymore. It's being let go. And the thing I love about this Fool and the Devil combination is almost like you're taking control of the situation. You're turning something into a negative, into a positive. Because the Fool card always connects to those new beginnings, right? The Fool, he doesn't look like he's too upset here in this devil lair, right? He doesn't look like he's going through such a rough time and things are so terrible. And what happens is it looks like he's taking the time to sit in this darkness, this area of darkness, to sort of figure out the best way to maybe even face sort of his own demons, right? That is what I'm getting from this imagery here. Because there's a lot of brightness. In fact, he's holding a flame himself, so he can navigate his way through the dark if he chooses to. And this is just a moment to kind of sit back and reflect and say, oh, wait a minute. Sometimes I might contribute to my own suffering, right? That's kind of like the Fool card energy combined with this devil. And so for me, it's like, oh, you're acknowledging the areas that you may have contributed to when it comes to maybe not getting the things you want in your life, or situations not panning out. You're acknowledging that and you're like, okay, it's time for me to move forward and not to repeat the same mistakes. The thing about the South Node is it deals a lot with the past. That's one of its deep meanings. It connects to the past. It connects to childhood. It connects to anything having to do with like something you might be naturally gifted at, something that comes to you naturally, right? I find that the South Node transits are very powerful. Similar South Node, North Node, they travel together, right? They're very powerful in the sense of wherever they're traveling, they're like, I need you to let go of this area. This is not within the plans. This is not in the cards. Like, I don't see this for you, okay? And so when we're showing this combination, to me, it feels like you're letting go of areas that have to do specifically with, if you felt like you were being stuck at a particular job, and I'm only mentioning job because the Devil card connects to Capricorn, which connects to career, job, things like that. If you felt stuck in there, you're moving on and you're finding new opportunities, or you're finding a way to create a different environment. Generally, South Node would just take you out of it. South Node will just say, no, this path is not for you anymore. I want you to completely change careers. If you were in a situation where you felt like you weren't surrounded by the right people who were supporting you, who said that they would have your back, but then they didn't, or maybe they never made those promises and you had those expectations and they just didn't show up, you're moving out of that and you're going to be creating connections that are more fulfilling and long-lasting. You're going to be connecting with people who can bring about more meaning into your life and more positivity. So I don't know if that was a dream or a wish of yours, but that is what's coming up in terms of that. Generally, this can represent, I mean, of all the piles, this can represent having a romantic partner come in to have your back, to be supportive of you. If you've never had that, then that would be something that is coming through. If you've had a desire to travel the world, because we have the Six of Swords and the Fool card energy coming up, and we also have the Three of Wands, which I can get for travel, then this would be, yeah, you're having that lifestyle change and you're going to be able to travel. There's a sense of having more simplicity in your life, a sense of just like burning away of anxieties or stressors and not having to go through so many uphill battles. I want to say that. And if you have any sort of addictions, with the Devil card and the Fool, this is representing a new beginning in regards to that, and saying any bad habits, any addictions, they're falling to the wayside. When K2 comes through, K2 wants you to let go of things that are harming you. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stories with the South Node and K2 having to deal with addiction. But ultimately, it is about going towards spirituality, going towards the other side, going towards away from the material world, and being one with this inherent nature that connects us all. I'll say that. And so when we see this combination and we have the Fool and Devil card next to it, it's like you're pulling away from the quick ways to do that, which a lot of people may do that through like drugs, alcohol, whatever, because it kind of just takes them out of their mind, right? And you're doing it in a more healthy way where it's bringing about more happiness, a lighter energy into your life, where you can feel connected to something higher or feel aligned with something higher on a regular basis without having to have some sort of dark consequences that may mess up your life on the material plane, if that makes sense, right? So I just want to say that. The focus here, though, because our major arcana is the Devil and I guess the Fool card as well, is having to do with your life purpose and feeling as if you can heal from any past traumas that could come within those areas. Because a lot of people have a lot of traumas towards work. We don't talk about that as much as a society, but yeah, work can be totally traumatizing. There's definitely a lot of toxic environments that aren't useful, environments that are like really heinous when it comes to how they treat people. And so you're being pulled out of those environments and you're starting anew and you're starting afresh. And this is going to be a better place. So if you've been looking for that, then that's going to be happening. If you've been looking for support, then that's going to be happening. If you've been wanting to get some sort of, what's the word? Results for your ideas, meaning like you've thrown some things at the wall and you want to see what sticks. Well, you're going to see what sticks soon. And it's going to bring you in a new direction. One that's more positive, one that will reduce any anxiety or depression, one that gives you a stronger sense of purpose. It's like you're finally getting something that works, like a door's being opened in your direction. If you've had a troubling or challenging love life and you seem to attract certain individuals, that's ending. It's ending pretty soon. And I would say moving forward, you're more likely to find people who are better matches for you and better at dealing with conflict, better at being more open, they're more spiritually connected, better communication skills, and genuinely just someone who you feel like you can be happy with long term. I want to say that. But I really feel as though this This energy is, I mean, it's all about letting go. It really is. Like, this wish that coming true is the dispelling of repetitive circumstances and patterns in your life that have haunted you, and it's coming to an end. And I feel as though like there's this new freedom that's happening. And you feel a stronger sense of control over your destiny. So that is what I want to say for you, pile number 5. Hopefully this resonates. If not, feel free to choose a new pile, or maybe I'm not the reader for you. But either way, I'm very happy you stopped by. Don't forget that I go live on the weekends. That's Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. And if you want to know, I do pop up during the week, and you got to hit that bell for that. Okay, stay notified. Also, I do love to poll your astronauts, get your opinions, get your thoughts on tarot, astrology, random things too, right? I just love to get to know you guys. And any other announcements for me? Yeah, if you want a private reading, just go ahead and click the description bar below, fill out the form, and I'll get back to you. And I'll see you next time. Au revoir.